Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. If you're new here, let me just thank you for finding us and for staying around and listening today. Let me explain what we do here. This is Daily Dose Radio, which is found in the Bible Bistro. The Bible Bistro hosts Daily Dose Radio, the Creek Road Baptist Pulpit, and the School of Wisdom podcast. Daily Dose Radio, which you're listening to now, is a 5-minute a day, 5-day a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse podcast. This format allows me to proceed through the Psalms, and we do it in about 4 years, and we do it verse by verse. That way we don't miss anything. Today, we're looking at Psalm 92. We're going to be in verses 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do Psalm 92 all this week and listen to what the psalmist says about worship. This psalm has, unlike Psalm 91, this psalm has an opening. It says a psalm or a song for the Sabbath day. In this introduction, we're not given the name of a psalmist. Heman is not mentioned, Ethan is not mentioned, Moses is not mentioned, David is not mentioned, Asaph is not mentioned. So this is another orphanic psalm, except that we know what it's been written for. It's written for the Sabbath day, a psalm or a song for the Sabbath day. And you'll notice right out of the gate here in verse 1, we have some instruction. Let me read for you verses 1, 2, and 3. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings, upon the psaltery, upon the harp, with a solemn sound. Here we have a call to worship. So, of course, this is a psalm or a song for the Sabbath day, and now the call of worship is given. But notice the very first thing in verse 1 is we have this instruction. It is a good thing. So what he's getting ready to tell us, he says is good. So this is good. There are 2 things that he says are good. Number 1, to give thanks. To give thanks, we have to have an object to thank. We have to have a person to thank. So here, to give thanks unto the Lord. So we know who we're thanking. So the very first thing, it's a good thing, number 1, to give thanks. And number 2, to sing praises unto thy name. So it's a good thing to sing praises to the name of the Lord, or he gives us another name. And remember, this is Hebrew poetry, so we have a parallelism here. Parallelisms are wonderful because they allow us to drill down into something a little deeper every single phrase. And so in the first phrase we had to give thanks unto the Lord. Here we have, O Most High. So we know exactly who it is we're talking about because this is one of God's names, O Most High. To sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. So 2 things it's good to do. Number 1, to give thanks. Number 2, to sing praises. And of course, this is set in the context of Sabbath worship. So on the Sabbath day, to give thanks and to sing praises. However, you know a little secret is, it's not bad to do it all the time. And then we have the why question answered here for us. In verse 2, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning. Why do we do this? Why is it a good thing to give thanks and to sing praises? Because, or here's the why answered, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. I'm praising God and I'm thanking God, or the Most High, or the Lord, however you want to frame that, because he's been loving kind to me. He's been faithful to me and to the congregation where I worship. We're going to see more about that, the why question, again in verse 15. Why is this important? Because God has been loving kind. He's been faithful. And then he tells us how. Here's the how question answered. Upon an instrument of 10 strings, upon the psaltery, upon the harp, with the solemn sound. So we have a little bit of orchestration going on here. We have the instrument of 10 strings, the psaltery, the harp, and solemn sound, which could be just the voice of the instruments, or it could also include the voice of the people, because we've been told to sing praise. So very musical, these first 3 verses, and they constitute a call to worship based on the loving kindness and the faithfulness of our God. All right, I hope you'll join me again next time. We'll be looking at verses 4 through 6 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.